SCYePortfolio is a tool for creating an ePortfolio of learning objects, submitting the ePortfolio for teacher evaluation, viewing teacher evaluation, and creating a showcase portfolio. An ePortfolio is associated with a mission, so you can have several ePortfolios. You open your ePortfolio from the SCY Portal. First, select a mission. For example, I select a My Healthy Pizza mission, and then click on Open My Portfolio to open my ePortfolio. The window that opens displays a thumbnail for each learning object that you are to add to your ePortfolio. These have been chosen by the teacher when preparing for the mission. The grey frame around the learning object means that learning object has not yet been added to the ePortfolio. And a green frame means that it has been added. There are two ways to add a learning object to your ePortfolio. Either you click on the thumbnail for the learning object you want to add, or you drag a learning object icon to the ePortfolio icon when you are working in Skylab. The steps for adding the learning object are the same. First, let's add a learning object by clicking on the thumbnail. First, you need to select the general learning goals that you have achieved by completing the learning object. If your teacher wants you to select achievement level of the learning goals, either low, medium, or high, you select this. Or if the teacher wants you to select specific criteria, select the one that best describes your achievement level. In this example, there are specific criteria that describes the achievement level. Next, you select the specific learning goals that you have achieved by completing the learning object. The teacher has also specified 2 questions about the learning object that you need to answer. Here you are asked, what have you learned by making this ELO? An ELO is a learning object, which requires that you type an answer. And how helpful was making this ELO in understanding healthy pizza, where you choose a point on the smiley scale. You can also choose if your learning object should be included in your showcase portfolio, a public portfolio that your friends or parents, for example, can visit. If you want this learning object to be included, you need to add a text that will be visible by those who visit your showcase portfolio. Remember, they do not know what you have been doing in this SCY mission, so write a text that tells them what this learning object is about and what you have learned by creating it. Once you have finished, click the Add to Portfolio button. You will now see that a learning object has been added to your portfolio as the frame around the object has turned green. Now, let's add a learning object directly from Skylab. Click the I am finished button in the learning object window. Minimize the window and drag the learning object icon to the ePortfolio icon. SCYePortfolio opens directly to the window where you select the learning goals and answer questions about the learning object. Let's quickly add this learning object as well. Once you have added all the learning objects to your ePortfolio, or the ones that you want to submit, you can build your ePortfolio. At the bottom of the window, you find a number of questions about your participation in the mission. You move between the questions by clicking on the tabs. The first question asks you, how did the collaboration within your group go? The second, what did you learn about scientific inquiry? The third, what is the most important thing you learned in this mission? And the last, how would you rate your effort on this mission? Once you have answered all the questions, you submit your ePortfolio by clicking on the Submit Portfolio button. The teacher will now be able to evaluate your ePortfolio. You will be notified when your portfolio has been evaluated.